Hi, I'm Ree from mummyoffour.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a new mum tag video which was started by Emily Norris. I have got 15 questions all about being mum that I have to answer, and I will share my answers with you lovely people. If you are new here, please subscribe. I share videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday at 7 p.m, so don't forget to hit the bell to get a notification when I post those. They're all videos about parenting tips, tricks, hacks and advice, all the stuff that gets me through the day having 4 children, all the stuff I had to figure out the hard way that I share with you so you don't have to. So hope you enjoy the video. Let's get on with the questions. First question is, what is my favourite mum hack? Now, this is like asking me to choose which is my favourite child. I have so many mum hacks that get me through the day, I can't even tell you. But if I had to pick one, oh, so difficult. Okay, let's go with, I like the bunnies. My little girls have bunnies, they have Jellycat bunnies, and they strap them onto themselves, so it's like they're baby wearing like a sling with their kind of bags with the straps, and then I've also got like the string that attaches to the bag, so when we're walking out and about, then I've got them. I know that they're safe in public places, so I know that they are happy because their bunnies are safe, they're happy because they've got their things with them in their bags, and they don't mind kind of being on like a rain kind of situation when we're walking in public spaces, because they feel it's something they like having their little bunnies all coached up to them. So that is one of my favourite mum hacks. What is your most embarrassing mum moment? Again, there's going to be a lot of these on there. So we're going to go for a recent-ish one. When my son was in his Christmas concert, my youngest daughter, who was not yet 2, was very loud at the time, and she was having snacks, which I was trying to give her snacks, and her and her sister snacks to keep them quiet in the concert. But at the time she was mispronouncing the word thank you, and it was coming out as with an F on it. You've probably got little ears listening to this, so I have to be careful, don't I? But it was coming out as you, as opposed to thank you, which she was screaming at the top of her lungs, you Bella, you Bella. Every time my sister passed her a snack, so I'm there going, ah, that's not what she's saying. Cringe. So not only was she being incredibly loud in the concert, it sounded like she was saying the F word at her sister. Cringe. Next question, which part of the day do you love the most? Now, this would change depending what day of the week it is. So my favourite part of the day is where we get to kind of slow down and have cuddles. So for a weekday, that would probably be just before bed, after we've got through the craziness of bath time, they've done all the homework and they're ready for bed, they're in their pajamas, and we can kind of have cuddly time and stories. That would be my favourite time. And then maybe on the weekends that would switch to just after they've woken up, when we kind of have a more chilled morning and there's no rushing around, and we can have that kind of lovely cuddly time then. So that's absolutely got to be my favourite time of the day, where we can just not be in a rush and I can cuddle my babies. Next question, which part of the day do you like the least? So I probably have to say that it is when we are just about having to get out the door to really G them all up, especially towards the end of the term when they're getting more tired, and that kind of rushing feeling. We've got a very strict morning routine, so considering we've got 4 children, mornings are not that stressful really. They're quite chilled because we have the same routine every day. But still, you know what children are like. There's always the inevitable, no matter how prepared you are, kind of last minute, come on, let's keep going. So yeah, my least favourite part of the day has to be that kind of, that leaving the house in the morning, that kind of come on, geeing them up bit. Next question, what was the worst thing that someone said to you when you were pregnant? Right, this one has got to be when I was heavily pregnant with my first son, and can I say who it was that did this? I'll say an unnamed person. Asked me to sit on a piece of furniture because they were trying to assemble this piece of furniture and they needed some weight to put on it. to kind of, because it wasn't like going together properly. So he said, yeah, come and sit on this for me, you're heavy, that you can help. And at 39 weeks pregnant, it's not what I wanted to hear. And yes, I was heavy and I was huge, but it didn't need saying. Next question, what is a baby name that you did not agree on? Now, I recently did my video, which is all about baby names that I love, but I will not be using. I will pop that up in the cards now if you want to check that out. But in short, the baby name that I really loved, that my husband did not like at all, was Henry. So there were quite a few of them that we kind of were like, ooh, but that was the one that I loved and he really, really did not. So that was never going to be a goer. Next question, did you co-sleep? The answer is kind of. Basically, what we had was a cot that went next to the bed that was attached to the bed so that the baby could like have their own space. They had the breathing monitor under the mattress. So obviously that would only work if there wasn't anyone else touching the mattress and causing kind of breathing or vibrations on it. So I would have the baby next to me in the cot, so I could kind of reach over and touch them. I could roll to you know, to get them, to feed them, but then as soon as it was time for them to go back to sleep, they would sleep in their own kind of safe sleeping space that I knew that the breathing monitor was kind of checking on them and making sure they were breathing, and also they weren't overheating, at risk of getting squashed, anything like that. So yes, we did co-sleep, but in that kind of way that I felt ticked all the boxes for me. Next question, what is something that you bought but never used? Now, something that I bought but probably only used once before I realised it was a total waste of time were I bought loads of tiny little expensive kind of baby pots that clicked together, and the idea was you made portions of food and then you took the portions of food out of the freezer and took them out, and they were in these tiny clicky pots. Now it turns out that the lids didn't shut properly, they didn't click together very well, and the portions were too small. And then after making a trillion purees for baby number 2, he preferred baby-led weaning, and I did baby-led weaning for all subsequent children after that. So those little pots were a little bit of a waste of money. Next question, what are your 3 must-have hospital bag items? Now, I have recently done a full guide to everything you need in your hospital bag, which you can check out in the cards now. But if I had to pick 3 items, I'm going to assume that that's beyond clothing, because obviously that's a given, and beyond maternity towels, because they're an absolute given as well. So I'm going to assume that that stuff is kind of taken as read, is in the hospital bag. My additional items I would absolutely insist on would be your smartphone loaded full of entertainment and things, because if you're stuck in hospital it can be so boring. So if you load it up with films and TV shows and audiobooks and music and things, when you're in early labor and it's kind of like niggly pain, it's enough to keep you busy and entertained. And then when you're in the later stages of labor, you can flip over to your hypnobirthing apps, which you can keep all on your phone. So my phone for me was an absolute lifesaver. The next item would be chargers and things. I think a charging cable that actually plugs into the wall, plus like a charging bank, was really handy for me when I couldn't actually get to charge my device. So that would be item number 2. And my last must-have hospital item was hospital snacks and drinks, because the food where I was in hospital was not great. I did not want to eat that. But also, even if the food is okay, they're not necessarily going to be feeding you at the times that you're awake. If you're awake at all kind of funny times of the day and the night while you are in labour or after you've had your baby, you will potentially be hungry and thirsty when there is nothing available for you to have. So by packing drinks and snacks for you and your birth partner, it will make your life so much easier. Next question, are you a routine mum or a go with the flow mum? And I am absolutely routine mum all the way. I have made loads and loads of videos about routine, which I shall pop up a playlist of routine videos in the cards right now if you want to check those out. But routine saves my skin, it's the way I get through the day. So yes, routine all the way for me. What type of labour did you have, and what sort of pain relief did you have? Again, I've got 4 labour stories, which would just take up this whole video, so you can have a look at my full labour and deliver stories, which I shall pop up in the cards now. But in summary, I have had the total types of pain relief I've had. I've had pethidine, which is like a jab in the leg. It's like a big needle in the leg, which I don't know. I think it made me quieter. Whether it did much of the pain or not, I don't know. not sure. I had gas and air, which definitely makes you very, very thirsty, and a bit kind of silly and drunk. So I've had that. And then for baby number 3, I only ended up with, I think I had cocodamol or something, like 1 tablet, because then they didn't believe I was in labour, and they didn't have time to give me anything else, so it was like an accidental minimal drug birth. And then the last baby, I didn't have any gas and air because they didn't believe I was on labour, and they wouldn't let me to go to labour ward where there was gas and air. So I had nothing. I just had sort of hypnobirthing all night, and then just before I was due to give birth, they didn't believe I was in labour. They insisted on giving me pethidine even though I didn't want it, and I kind of agreed to it because everyone was nagging me so much. I just wanted them to shut up and leave me alone. And then before it even kind of did much, she was born. So that's my my full concoction of things I had for my deliveries. But if you want to see the full stories, as I said, I shall link those for you to take a look at. Next question is, have you ever been mum shamed? And not directly, but sort of. I would say that I potty trained my son much earlier than I felt he was ready for potty training because of mum shaming, sort of. I felt mum pressure then. I felt there were a couple of people in my life that were very much, oh, isn't he potty trained yet? Isn't this yet? Isn't that yet? And I felt kind of like, oh, I should be doing it, even though I knew in my gut he was not ready for it. Turns out I was right. He had autism. He was not developmentally ready for potty training at that time. So I really should have trusted my gut. But yes, I guess I was mum shamed into potty training him when I knew it wasn't right. Next question, what are the biggest challenges you've faced since becoming a mum? And I'd probably have to say it's mum guilt. Am I doing a good enough job? Feeling guilty for doing anything for myself, spending any time on myself, any money on myself, and just feeling immense guilt, like I'm a really bad mother if I do any of that stuff. Just constantly worrying, are they happy enough? Are they healthy enough? Am I doing a good enough job? Am I any good at this? And I'm aware when I say all that out loud, it sounds a bit OTT and crazy, but I think we've all felt like that sometimes. So that's definitely been my biggest struggle, to try and just know I'm doing my best, know it's not always going to be perfect, and just enjoy every moment without being consumed by guilt and worry. Got to be my biggest struggle. Next question, what is your best piece of mum advice that you would pass on to a new mum? And that has got to be trust your gut. You know your child, you know what's going on. If you think, oh, do they need to see a doctor? Just trust your gut. If you think that there might be something wrong, go and get it checked out. There's no harm. Always, if you're concerned about anything, if you're getting this niggling feeling, don't worry about wasting people's time. Don't worry about what people are going to think. It's your baby. Get them checked if you have any concerns or worries. And also, going back to kind of my potty training and things, just know your child. You know what is ready. Trust your gut. Don't rely on peer pressure or what other people think. Just, you've got this, mama. Just, you know what's best for your babies. So you do that. Last question, who are your mum crushes and who do you tag? So I'm going to tag my kind of mum blogging, vlogging besties. I tag Georgina Clark, who is a fab mum of, she was 2 under 2, but her eldest just turned 2, but let's face it, what changes when they are a couple of months over 2? Not very much. And then Katie from What Katie Said, who is an amazing mum of 3, who is the absolute organisation queen. So they are my mum crushes, and I tag them to do this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to leave me a comment below, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday at 7 PM. So I'll see you guys very soon in the next video.